Elections Coordinating Committee situation room and to this presidential runoff election day situation statement that will be released shortly on the basis of observation made thus far since 8 o'clock this morning. Seated on this high table is the board of directors of the Elections Coordinating Committee. On my immediate right is Mr. Charles Crawford. He's the Executive Director of the Center for Conflict Prevention and Peace Building. And of course, Mr. Oscar Blow is the Chairman of the Elections Coordinating Committee. He comes from the Center for Democratic Governance. And then next to him is Madam Esther Yangu, sorry. Madam Esther Yangu is the head of the Women Aid Youth Secretariat of Liberia. And then next to Madam Yangu is Matthias Yene, who is the Executive Director of ARE. And Mr. Eddie Gawu, seated in the extreme left, he is the Executive Director of the Neighborhood Partners for Democratic Development. And of course, my name is Mark Joseph. I'm also a member of the board. I come from the Center for Media Studies in Liberia. We want to welcome all of you, and at this juncture, we'll turn over to the chairman, Mr. Oscar Blow, who will read the ECC presidential runoff election, the situational statement.
Presidential runoff election day made this statement. November 14, 2023. The availability of election materials and the logistic arrangements were improved as compared to the first round of voting, and the process has been peaceful despite a few minor incidents. This statement is based on reports that the ECC has received from 1,176 out of the 1,002 stationary observers deployed to the various polling places nationwide, and as of 2 p.m. during the presidential runoff elections on November 14, 2023. This report focuses on the setup and opening of polling places. Percentages reported reflect percentages of polling places observed by the ECC who are proportionally distributed across electoral districts of the country and do provide credible data to gauge national threats. At this time, the ECC has received 98% of reports from 1,200 observers. Arrival at polling places. 99% of ECC observers were permitted to access and observe at their polling places. By 6 a.m., 91% of all ECC observers were at their assigned polling places, and 96% of those places found the NEC polling officials to be present. Queues of voters outside the voting precincts at 6 a.m. were reported in 91% of observed locations. Opening. ECC observers reported that voting generally commenced on time, that is before 8:15 a.m., and in 99% of the observed polling places, only 1% of the polling places opened with a slight delay between 8:15 and 10 a.m. The ECC commenced the NEC for the measures taken to avoid the logistical challenges observed during the first round, which previously led to late opening of polling places. Polling places setup. With the smooth opening of polling places, observers reported systematic availability of the required sensitive voting materials, including the final registration roll, the FRR, ballot papers, indelible ink to curtail multiple voting, and the accounting forms were present. Even so, ECC observers reported an improved availability of the Tata ballot guide at 92% for visually impaired voters, compared to the first round of the election process, where the Tata ballots were present in only 89% of the observed polling places. In 86% of observed polling places, 5 or more NEC staff were present during the setup. Around 48% of the polling staff were women at observed polling places. The ECC commends the NEC for giving women the opportunity to serve. In 98% of polling places where ECC observers were located, observers saw security personnel in the area. ECC commends the joint security for the improved coverage during both rounds of the election, given that the provision of security is the sole responsibility of internal security agencies. The ECC observed the presence of both CDC and UP party agents in 88% of observed polling places. Additionally, some ECC mobile observers noted that party agents have copies of the final registration roll and were seen verifying voters in some areas before being allowed to vote. This is a demonstration of improved transparency of the voting process. Critical incidents. The ECC data center is also collecting critical incident reports from all 1,738 observers that are continually being processed. Generally, ECC notes that despite the peaceful conduct of voting, the atmosphere is tense and has been characterized by a few challenges. There were reports of isolated tension at polling places due to misunderstanding and trust from voters. In Montserrado County, District number 13, the ECC observer at the Deaf Ministry Elizabeth Salem School of Hope, with precinct number 30058, reported the NEC queue controller absent, which resulted in the irregularity of the time. This caused the voting process to stop for over 15 minutes due to the lack of control. In Lofa, at the Esther Wool School with precinct code 21137, ballot papers were observed not being stamped, and party agents raised the issue, but the magistrate said the stamping, the paper is not a major thing, because once the voter marks the paper correctly, the vote will be counted, and it will not be considered as an invalid vote. The ECC will continue to keep a close eye on the process and report any other emerging issues or concerns. The ECC continues to observe the process and will have more information in future updates. In view of the above, the ECC recommends the following. To the NEC, ECC urges the NEC to increase the frequency of at least twice a day of reporting of election results. To political parties, parties are encouraged to urge their agents to remain engaged with the process up to the counting and tabulation of results. Political parties should respect the authority of the NEC to announce official election results. To security, remain vigilant as voting is on the way to counter any attempts of intimidation, threat, or harassment at the voting precincts. That they provide the required logistics for the safe transportation of election materials to the NEC offices after the closing and tabulation of results. To the general public, we urge you to remain calm as the process unfolds and while we await official results to be announced by the NEC. The ECC has deployed 1,738 trained observers, 1,500 short-term observers, 73 electoral district supervisors, and 19 county coordinators to observe the runoff elections. The ECC train and deploy an additional 146 district observers to support supervision and the observation of the tallying process at the next magisterial offices. Of the 1,500 short-term observers, 1,002 are deployed as stationary observers stationed at polling places through election day, and the remaining 300 short-term observers are mobile. The 146 district observers, county coordinators, and supervisors are also mobile observers reporting on the general electoral environment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Councilor Oscar Blow, for the reading of the statement. So we now go over to the media. I'd like to entertain 3 or at most 4 questions in relation to what has been read. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Aaron Kumar of Spoon TV. Overall, you're praising the issue about queue control, that's FRR copies be given to party observers, and that individuals who enter names are mentioned to check as to whether they're in the FRR. There's a statement from the National Elections Commission that just came out, and NEC is saying that that is not the procedure, and that one amounts the secrecy of voting. Do you have any information on that statement? And also, it has been reported that political parties in NEC went into agreement for that to be done, but NEC is denying that report, that they're not going to any MOU. Do you have any information on such? Was there any MOU that took place?
Well, I don't speak for the NEC, nor do I speak for any political party. But as far as we observed, as compared to the first round of voting, we did see party agents with the FRR. And I was at several polling places this morning. When the voters came in, their names were called, and the party agents verified those names in the FRR. How they got it, I don't know. And so if there's an existing MOU between the NEC and the political parties, I will refer you to the political parties for clarification. But in terms of the administration of the elections, we think that that has improved the quality of the voting and to build citizen trust in the process.
Just a follow-up, sir. The one question is that you work along as an observer together with the National Elections Commission to observe this entire process, though you are not a body within the NEC. I'm asking whether it is with the knowledge of, whether you know of any MOU. The next aspect, the follow-up, I'm going to go for. NEC is saying that that is not part of the procedure for voters' name to be mentioned. It goes against the rules of the procedure, and it is actually against the secrecy of vote. How do you see this?
I cannot speak to that. And again, as I said, we were not present at any engagement between the NEC and political parties. Our observation is based on the process. And we think the availability of the voter roll with the political parties helped to increase public trust in the process.
Should we continue?
That is not for me to say.
Thank you very much, Council. So we'll take another question. Yeah, Fabric?
Thank you so much. My name is Struggle from Fabric Radio. I am concerned in your update. I did not hear you give any percentage or rating about voter turnout. I don't know what you observed as compared to the first round of the election.
Okay, so what we've seen so far is that the intake of the voters has been slow as compared to the first round of voting. We are not yet in the position to say categorically that there has been low turnout because the voting is still on. We don't have any figures. It will be not prudent for us to make a statement that there's low turnout. What we can say is that voters are coming in slowly. And because the process is not as jammed as it was in the first round, the voting is taking place smoothly, and voters may come intermittently to vote. So let's wait until After the voting ends, we will then be able to know based on the valid votes cast whether the turnout was low or it was high.
Thank you, Council. Take another question. Anyone? Okay, so thank you kindly. Thank you for coming today. Our partners from NDI, USAID, US Embassy, Yaga Africa, ECOWAS, MRU, and all the other dignitaries who have come to attend the program. We'd like to say thank you so much for coming. Our esteemed board members, thank you for the press conference. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you for coming.
And we, all of our partners, USAID, Irish Aid Union, African Union, tomorrow we'll be releasing our detailed preliminary statement. And at the time, we'll give you at least 2 hours notice, but we intend to release the statement tomorrow on the entire observation since we started with this process. But tomorrow we'll let you know. Here, yes.